Sunny days, sweeping the clouds away. On my way to where the air is sweet. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Happy flippin' New Year. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And you know what? In case I didn't, because I didn't do my homework, because I'm just straight from the hip and the heart, as you know, as the title. It's my homeboy, my nephew hooked up for me, as you can see. Faith from the hip and the heart. So, I can't remember if I did a podcast before Christmas or anything. But anywho, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we're all here because we're here and we're doing this together. Just the way they don't want us. Be the rebel. Let's be rebels. And let's do this thing together. Let's put all differences aside. Let's put out all the BS. Let's get all the crap. Let's get all that crap out of the air, out of our systems, because that's not what we need. What we need is unity. Unity. Yes. I'm feeling good. I'm trying to stay good, trying to stay feeling good. It's Friday, right? Right. We got done work a little early today. I'm not going to complain about that. Got some great good news to share, and I hope you guys find it just as wonderful as I have. Excuse me, and just as inspirational as I have found it. I apologize for my appearances of late. When I have I don't script much. I don't plan much of my podcasts. It's I let go and let God. And over the last handful of days, people that I've come across have actually provided the topics for today. One of which we've got a little update on our friend Kadyn, and I wanted to share a couple of victories in the lives of people that I know, and acquaintances that I know, friends, folks that I've known for a number of years. Excuse me. And I just wanted to share, and hopefully somebody out there will find that these stories of wonderful news will find it inspirational and find strength in it. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up our first story, and we'll go over that, and we'll keep on rolling. What? All right, as I said, we have an update on our friend Kadyn here. And excuse me. Welcome to season 2, episode 1 of Faith from the Hip and the Heart. Thank you for being here. What a way to kick it off with more great news. So here we go. Gonna do this without my readers. Who am I kidding? No, we're not. And they're not readers. These are my everydayers, everything. Everything. Here we go. Kadyn update. Kadyn had a follow-up with the infectious disease specialist today. He said her incision looks perfect, and all of her vitals were excellent. Praise God. She doesn't have to see him again for 3 months, and he cleared her to go home if plastic surgery and neurosurgery clear her. If things still look good at the next follow-up, she may be able to go off the antibiotics at that point, but it looks like it's doing its job now. We are so intensely thankful. This is written from the young lady's mother. And she includes, now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power at work within us, to him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen. That's taken from Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20 through 21. Uh, that is great stuff. That is great news. Just a quick recap of this young lady diving at the Air Force Academy. Smashed her face in. Terrible, horrible accident. Ended up crushing her facial bones structure 3 inches into her frontal lobe. Parents were told not to expect the same daughter back again. She went off the high dive, whatever happened, she hit concrete, then fell into the water after that. So now you've got the facial injury and you have drowning, and all things were pointing against. All things are pointing against this young lady's survival and her, returning as the same person that left the house that morning. With the power of Christ on her side, with the power of Christ on our side, nothing is impossible. And this young lady and plenty of other people are proving this day by day by day by day. And this is beautiful. This is encouraging. This is fantastic. This is the good news. This is a testimony to how great thou art. That's one of my later in life jams right there. How great thou art. And blessed assurance. Blessed assurance has always been a favorite. Woo! I'm breaking my chair. Your boy needs a new chair and key light. Santa didn't really hook it up with that this year, and that's quite all right. That's quite all right, because the message is still getting through. Let's sip a cup of coffee for the new year, huh? Beautiful. Excellent. Tastes good. Feels good. Is good. I've got my other monitor up here. I'm trying to figure out why I've got so many other things open in here. I don't know where you came from. But anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. So that's great news. That is fantastic. That young lady had doctors, surgeons, specialists scratching their heads and going, how is she doing this? How is she doing this? I know. You know. We know how she's doing this. It's terrific, ain't it? It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Speaking of recovery, I had a gentleman stop me the other day, and he leads off with, "Oh, you probably don't care, but," and I'm like, whoa. Don't ever. I mean, we've only known each other for maybe a year or so. But, you're going to learn not to start off with, when you're talking to me, with "you may not care," because there's a great chance, there's a huge probability that I will care, and I will care a lot more than what you think I would care. And in this case, that was the case. This guy comes up to me and says, "Yo, today," this was a couple days ago, "I'm 6 years clean." 6 years clean. I have a tell. My daughter's noticed it. My niece noticed it. Little pain in the butt she is. But when I'm getting emotional, I go Rudolph. My nose starts to turn a little red, and my nose went red. My blood went warm. It was so warm. I was pins and needles. I still have goosebumps when I talk about it. 6 years, and this young man, he's younger than me. He had been through some shit. Excuse my language. He's like, "Yeah, no more crack, no more heroin, no more cocaine, no more pills, no more whatever was coming my way," and I was doing it. None of that. No more speed. None of that. I said, "That's terrific. God bless you. Keep going. Keep effing going." Just like I tell the people who are saying, "Oh, I'm going through hell right now." Well, if you're going through hell, keep going. It's the only way to get through it, is to keep effing going. I bought my wife and my daughter bracelets that say, keep effing going. Keep going. You're in recovery? Keep effing going. Go with God. And nothing can go against you. Unbelievable. I was so happy for this guy because we had shared some stories. This man had a stroke once, okay? Before the age of 40. He wasn't expected to live, but he did. And then one day, 6 years ago, he threw it all up. He threw it all out. And he said, God, I need you. I need your help. I can't do this. I want to do this, but I can't do it alone. From that day forward, he hasn't even touched alcohol, which is, I've seen plenty of people and I've seen plenty of stuff on my own. Alcohol they talk about idle time being the devil's play tool. It's true. But alcohol is the devil's dance right there, man. Aside from all the other drugs and stuff. But they keep pushing alcohol. Yeah, you can get alcohol. Everything's fine. They don't check for this. You don't check for that. Heaven forbid you're on the marijuana program. They want to piss test you every 2 hours and you can't do this and you can't do that. But alcohol, fine, go get your gun permit, go buy a gun and, drink up. But heaven forbid you took a little bit of weed medically and, and you have your permit, then they want to, eyeball and question and just really get on you about everything. That was awesome. My son just came to let me know that he was leaving for work. I'm glad he did. I appreciate that. I'm thankful for that. Woo! The blessings just keep pouring in, right? At all times, at all hours. So talking to this gentleman, he's like, yeah, man. It's like, there's no other explanation. Not that I'm looking for one. And even if I tried to find an explanation to why I am in this spot right now, it all comes from God. I said, bro, you're right. You are 100% correct. He was just listing all the things, the key things that stuck in my mind. He was able to kind of, rekindle a relationship with his oldest child. He's since then had a new, but he's got a baby boy at home. Okay, he's moved out of a POS type living situation and has just moved into his very first home, his own home. This guy's going rags to riches, baby. He's got a wonderful baby mama. He's got a wonderful baby at home. Handsome, cute little thing, man. He loves his son to death. This guy is busting his butt at work. He's busting his butt at his second job. He's busting his butt and spending as much time as he can with his child, which is awesome. That's commendable, especially in these times and these days. Hearing his story, hearing his testimony is something. And I hope for the new year, I need to put this together. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do a list of questions like a true interviewer does and, have him come here and we shoot. I don't know if I'm going to go to his place and shoot a video or maybe just have him come in and I'm like, bro, tell your story, and pass the mic because nobody should tell your story. Nobody can tell your story better than you can. Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong. 6 years is incredible. 6 weeks of sobriety is incredible. A start is a start. People talk about I fell off the wagon or, I relapsed. It's okay because we're only human. We're not expected to be perfect at anything at any time. And when you're in recovery, you're not expected to be perfect. Not at all. I had another acquaintance just recently inform me that they had, I think she said 20 months clean. Commendable. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was, it hurt a little bit because during the Christmas season, and I understand this, I get this, they had one day where they backslid, where they slid back into their old habits, old ways. And, in the brief paragraph that we had sent back and forth, she had said, but I'm so glad it was just that one day. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know how to respond to that. So, of course, it was through Facebook. So I gave it a big, caring emoji because I do care. I really do. If I know you or don't know you, I care. I haven't had an issue with substances. There was a time when I did drink too much. There was a time when I was on prescription painkillers. And recently, well, not recently, but then there was a time when I was on antidepressants and the helpers, the Abilifys, the Seroquel, bunch of stuff. I got to a point one day where I said, I don't want to do these pills anymore. I don't want to do, speaking specifically about the painkillers, when the pharmacy would run out or when there was some kind of a hiccup in the system and I couldn't get them and I ran out, the withdrawal was terrible. More terrible for my family, my children, than for me. Hot, cold sweats, flu-like symptoms, headaches, and my attitude. That was the worst part of all. I was snipping and snapping and biting everybody's heads off. And it was no good. So at that point I knew I needed to make a change, do something, do what I could to bring the pain level down to a manageable spot. So today, aside from a couple of surgeries here and there, for the most part of the last, good Lord, that was probably 2012. So I'm going to say close to 13, for the better part of 13 years, I've had no painkillers whatsoever, again, except for whatever was prescribed after hernia surgery. I think that was the last time I had any. And I didn't even finish that script. I was like, you know what? We're good. Abdominal surgery? Yikers. That's some pain right there. That's some pain. So God bless you if you've ever been through it, especially if you've been through it without the aid of narcotic pain relievers. Moving on. I knew I had a drinking issue where I would drink too much. I didn't get abusive. I didn't, I didn't lay hands on anybody. I didn't start arguments. I'm a jolly drunk. Unfortunately, I'm also a vomity drunk. And I lost control one day. I had no intentions on getting drunk. And I got ripped at somebody else's house with my friends and my family around. And this is what I did not want to show my children. I showed them anyway. Face down in the toilet. Bleh. Having to be carried out to the car again. That was dumb. That was stupid. So now if you ever catch me with a bottle in my hand, a 6-pack will last me a month, if not longer. Plus having ulcers kind of helps with that too. If my cousin makes his apple beer again, I will gladly sip on some of that. And when the winter months come around and cider is all over the place in the supermarkets, I will have, some nights I'll have a hot toddy, a little bit of apple cider, a little bit of spiced rum, a little bit of microwave time. So good going down. But for the most part, I am, I don't drink much anymore. I don't drink at all. And as of recently, I guess we're going into a month and a half now without antidepressants of any type. Uh, I got to a point one day last year where I'm going, you know what? I'm on the dose that I'm on, and I'm having a hard time leaving the house. Obviously, this medication's not doing its job any longer. My prior experiences have always been, well, this isn't working for me. I want to try something else. Well, let's try a higher dosage. Unfortunately, I wasn't the one to advocate for myself as I should have been. And I would just kind of, well, you're the doctor, so let's go ahead and do it, right? And, I allowed them to give me a higher dosage. Now, they upped my dosage, this was years ago, on Zoloft, and that just sent me right over the edge. Right over the edge. There was no this guy in control. The token saint ladies and gentlemen, the token saint has left the building. Thank you and good night. It was Mr. Hyde in control, man. If I'm getting it right. It's been so long, Jekyll and Hyde. Seriously, it felt like my true self, was strapped to the seat and made to watch this maniac drive and steer and run my life. And where did he run it? Straight into the ground. Sadly, he was taking everybody else that I cared about along with him. Got off the Zoloft, got on Wellbutrin. Wellbutrin didn't do me wrong, but as I said, as years went on, I'm going, why am I having such a hard time? This isn't working. I sat down, I had a conversation with myself, had a conversation with God, and I'm going, of course, God, lead me, direct me, light my path, show me. Sometimes I don't take signs so easily, so maybe text me or write it down. Make it simple for a guy like me, God. Let me know. And from that day on, I just started to, I started cutting my pills in half. And not to mention, sadly, my script started to become, I have an FSA account, so I can afford it, but it wasn't sitting right with me. Having to pay whatever I was paying. I think the last I saw was like $60 for, I think it was maybe a 1 month supply, maybe 2 months, whatever it was. It was too much. And it was ridiculous. And if it's not working, then I'm certainly not going to overpay for something that's not working. And if it's not working and it's a medication, then I'm going to definitely stop putting it in my body because it's not doing me any good. All right. So I started cutting my pills down, cutting them down, and started to wean myself off of it over the year. And of course, there were times when I was like, I'm wondering if I'm doing the right thing, if this is the best thing to do. I don't want to go back down, the rabbit hole of lunacy, and I certainly don't want to take anybody else with me again. So, again, talk to the Lord. And I said, if I'm doing this, let's try that again. If what I'm doing is not the right thing, speak to me, Lord. Speak to me loud and clear so that I can hear it, so I understand it, so there's no doubt in my mind of what I am to do next. And my response was, new phone, who dis? Nah, just playing. You're good, Rye. You're good. Keep effing going. Keep going. And I kept going. And then I got down to... they were 100 milligram pills, and I was cutting them into quarters, so I was down to maybe 25 milligrams a day. And then once that was done, again, that morning I took my last one, and the next day after that, I pray every day. But I had a little special prayer for it, and said, God, let this be it. Please, let this be it. And now that I've got, chemically speaking, it should all be out of my system now. Thank you, God. Huh. I feel great. Aside from, the germs and the bugs and everything that are going around, I feel fantastic. I feel all the good parts of me that, I was familiar with back in the day. The only problem was back in the day, there was a lot of alcohol involved and other medications. And sadly, when I was, taking Zoloft and drinking, I was drinking and taking Zoloft, and my stupid rationale then was, see, the label only says you shouldn't drink alcohol while taking this medication. It doesn't say do not drink alcohol while taking this medication. There was a period of time when one could easily say it seemed like I was out to undo myself. Like some people I know, one person I know in particular. Excuse me. Sip time. So, I feel great. I feel better. The clarity is unreal. My thoughts are my own. Once again, as crazy and silly as they may be, the thoughts are good. I just, thank God. Thank God, because I missed who I was, and for a long time, and now I kind of understand what my wife, when I would say, "Oh, I missed you today," and she would respond with, "I miss you a lot. I miss," and sometimes it would slide out. She was like, "I miss who you used to be." Not exactly that, but I could tell. So I asked her one time, I was like, "Are you missing, the person I once was?" Because in anything, when there's a change, there's the good and the bad. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Old people check, just keeping you all awake. Thank you. God bless you. So, yeah, that's my story. My recovery, if you want to call it that. Back to the young lady that I mentioned earlier. If she gets to hear this, I salute you. I high five you. I hug you. Whatever it is. Good old chest bump if need be. You stumbled, and that's fine. Hi. Oops. I apologize. That was my lovely wife stopping in to say, "I'm home." And I'm like, "I'm glad." Yes, to my friend who fell off 20 months into a recovery. It's okay. Nobody's mad at you, and you shouldn't be mad at yourself either. You had one day out of almost 2 years, one day out of almost 600 some odd days, 700, almost 700 days. And you had one day. That's the nice thing about these clocks. Whether it's, clock on the wall and you're looking at the time just keeps refreshing. And when we make mistakes, when we have errors, when we fall off, when we, stumble or we lose our way for a moment, whatever the case is, that clock starts again for us. That clock, it's not prejudice. That clock does not hate. That clock does not judge. It says, all right, let's go again. Let's run it back. Okay, you stumbled. Didn't mean you lost your way. I love you. God still loves you. Jesus loves you. And, how many people you got in your circles love you. Total strangers love you. And we all want the best for you. This is recovery is the hardest part. And as I said, I've only had to, stay away from alcohol, and and I choose to stay away from it. It's not that I have a problem, but one, I don't start nothing, won't be nothing. So if I don't go drinking, then I'm not going to get ripped and cause any problems. If I do have some drinks, I am very aware of what I'm doing, and I'll look at it. Ooh, 2 bottles, we're good. Let's call it a night right there. As I said, ulcers help me to stay away from the beer anyway. It's beautiful. So, I say to you, and I salute you all, keep going. I have another young man that I know who recently celebrated 13 years. 13 years of sobriety. That is incredible. 6 months, 6 years is incredible. 20 months is incredible, because when you're in recovery, that's where the real work starts. That is hardcore work, to stay away from the stuff. And the world that we live in today doesn't quite fit what those in recovery, it doesn't fit what those, of us who want to love, live, and laugh. This world doesn't want that. I talk about this a lot. It doesn't want the unity. It doesn't want the cheerfulness. It doesn't want the gladness. It doesn't want God. It doesn't want God, and it doesn't want us to know God. It doesn't want us to come together. It doesn't want us to come closer to Him. But I will tell you this once again. Let me take a sip of coffee. And this gentleman that I'm speaking of also threw it away, said, God help me. I can't do this alone. I need your help. And he's got 13 years under his belt. Fan-freaking-tastic. This young man is younger than me. In a sense, I got to watch him grow up. I saw his family. I know his siblings, and for one of his siblings, it wasn't a happy ending. That is painful. It's one that I hope I hope nobody ever has to experience as a parent, as a sibling, younger or older sibling. God. But this young man has been putting the work in for 13 years, man. I again, my problems, my issues, I won't even call them addictions. Like sucking my thumb. I sucked my thumb until I was 17, man. Until I was 17. That was something, that was difficult to stop. And I remember the one day, watching TV or whatever as a teen by myself, because I didn't really have a whole bunch of friends growing up. And I was sitting there watching TV, and I realized, wait a minute, my thumb in my mouth. Ah, man, I was doing so well, and I was getting, I was beating myself up about it. No, that ain't cool. That's not going to help. It's not going to help anything. The other day, I listened to a daily devotional that keeps track of my daily listening, and I knew it was going to go. It was going to be a great thing for me for motivation, but I also knew that the one day I forget, I'm going to, come down hard on myself. And sure enough, I'm still not convinced that I missed a day, but I had like 180 some odd day streak going. All right, here we go. And I go turn it on, listen to it the other morning, and it's like, listening streak, one day. I said, what? Except my voice didn't crack like that. One. Oh man, I missed it. And I'm beating myself up. I'm like, slow down, pump the brakes, brother. Get back on. It's no big deal. Get back on. And that's I can't say enough how proud I am of people in recovery. No matter if you stumbled a couple times, or you've fallen off the wagon, or you've backslid, whatever you want to call it. If you've fallen off, dust yourself off and get back up right away. Get back on there. Like the young lady I mentioned a little while ago, saying, she's thankful that it was just the one day, and she's able to get back up, and that clock starts again. That clock starts again for you. anybody out there who's going through this and might, fall off in the future or have fallen off once or twice or numerous times, whatever. It's not about how hard life hits you. It's about getting back up. It really is. It really is. Because whether you're on something or off something, in recovery or not in recovery, whatever, life is still going to come at you the way it does. And for you to take those shots and keep getting back up, like my mother always said to me, I'm so proud of you, Ryan. You roll with the punches. You roll with the punches. Eventually, those punches are going to beat you up, and you're going to take a seat. You may not answer the bell once, or you might have a lackluster round, but you keep going. You keep going, and you're staying alive. These 3 people I spoke of today, as far in recovery, are still alive because they choose to keep trying, and they choose to stay on the right path, and they choose when they fall off to get back on. You guys are fighting a fight that I couldn't imagine. A fight I could not imagine. Especially with everything being so accessible. If your thing is alcohol. My little town here, tiny ass town, we have too much exposure, too much outlet to alcohol and barbershops. There's like 9 barbershops in my tiny ass town. Okay. Too many barbershops, too many liquor stores. We have a train that runs right through the middle of town. And those of us who knew voted against it because we did not want the crack and back line. And well, we got it anyway because that's a whole nother can of worms. But those that are sitting on Capitol Hill and sitting in these, senates and mayors and governors and things and such, they don't care. Stop thinking that they care about you. They do not care. So now we have seen an influx. The town will never admit to it, but an influx in theft, influx in violence, influx in drugs in our town. So you folks in recovery are fighting a hell of a fight. I salute you. I love you. I appreciate you. I support you. I am behind you. I and so many other people are behind you, and I pray for you. God bless you. Keep fighting the good fight. You guys are impressive creatures. You guys are beautiful children of our most awesome God. And with him on your side, nothing is impossible. People are proving that every single day. And I pray for you all in recovery. I pray for all of us. And I thank you all for listening and watching, or watching and listening, or just listening. Whatever it is that you're doing, I greatly appreciate it. I check my numbers, and I started off on Spotify, and my numbers have dropped. But these podcasts that I upload to YouTube, God bless you guys, both, wherever you're watching it, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify, I truly, truly appreciate your time and your time, because that's something you're going to get back. You're not going to get time back. So I appreciate yous. I love yous. I hope and pray that 2026 finds you, keeps you in good health and good spirits, because good gravy, it can be a little rough out there sometimes. So be good to each other and yourselves. Got a little Jerry Springer there, I think. And again, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Joyous Kwanzaa. I think I got them all. And yay, Season 2, Episode 1 is in the books. I love you, and I thank you. Peace and love. I'm out. Bye, kids. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame?